Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing today, Wednesday, February 11th. The Salinas Police Department recently received a traffic safety grant from the California Office of Traffic Safety to support safety on our roads. So today we are going to talk about what the program includes, outreach, training, and enforcement focused on unsafe driving behaviors that put everyone on our roads at risk. As part of these efforts, there was a hands-free enforcement operation that was conducted last week. So here to tell us more about the safety efforts and what the public should know, we have Sergeant Zach Dunagan with the Salinas Police Department. Hi, Sergeant Dunagan. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, how's it going?
Great. Tell us more about this program.
So just to start off, the grants that we get from the Office of Traffic Safety is just a small portion of the vehicle and pedestrian traffic enforcement and education that we do. The most recent grant that we got was for hands-free traffic enforcement, and on top of that, outreach for education. A big reason because of for that is because the recent law change. As of June of last year, the law has changed when it comes to hands-free driving and distracted driving, for that matter. What a lot of people don't understand about the new law is it is now illegal to hold your cell phone in your hand, period, while you're driving a vehicle. That means it's as simple as, even if you're just holding it in your hand, waving it around, not even using it, that is illegal now. The law, however, has updated to, if you do have it mounted, you are allotted a single swipe or tap, which is still legal. The reason behind that is we know people use it for employment, such as Uber, and rideshare apps, delivery services, so that they can still use it for navigation and stuff like that. But the reason why the law negates more than a single swipe or tap is because we still don't, even if it's mounted, we still don't want people texting from or operating an app from the mount or while in the driver's seat. So I think the biggest thing to put out there is the education side of this, is that people think that when they're at a red light, oh, I'm stopped, I'm safe, I can now operate my phone. No, that is still also illegal under the new law. So like I said, part of the OTS grant was this specifically because of the new law change. But a big reason of where that's coming from is I only have City of Salinas stats, but I know that this is an issue not only statewide, but county-wide, is vehicle versus pedestrian accidents. So that's why the police department has made a big push in educating and doing PSAs when it comes to vehicle and pedestrian safety. A big reason behind this is that there's a notion going out there that it's one side or the other's fault when this stuff happens. But we want to make sure that people know that it's everybody's job to be aware and be safe. That goes for the pedestrian and the driver. Simple things like when you're walking on the street, being aware of your surroundings, not having your cell phone or your headphones blasting where you can't hear, making eye contact with drivers can help save a life, and vice versa. The distracted driving goes along with that. Another big thing that people tend to be unaware of is distracted driving in general. Reading a book while you're driving is against the law. Watching a video on your cell phone, even if it's mounted, is against the law. Having a dog sitting on your lap while you're driving is against the law. Putting on your makeup while you're driving is against the law. It's these little things that people tend to do because they don't think it's that big of a deal, that we want to stop, because we want to see a reduction in vehicle versus pedestrians and traffic accidents in general. Some of the big stats that are out there that not a lot of people may know is last year in 2025, we had 80 vehicle versus pedestrian accidents. 6 of those were fatal. We only had one more homicide in the city of Salinas than we did vehicle versus pedestrian fatals. And in 2024, we had 6 homicides and 6 vehicle versus pedestrian fatals. So it is just as big of an issue, no matter how a life is lost. So that is a big push on our end, is education. And part of that education, unfortunately, is enforcement. I think that's pretty much it. I know I talked
Yeah.
kind of fast. It's not a whole giant topic to cover. A lot of it is very dry and straightforward. But that's where the OTS grants come from. We also get OTS grants when it comes to DUI enforcement. So a lot of the checkpoints that you see, a lot of the DUI enforcement on the weekends, or on, for example, Super Bowl, major holidays, will have DUI enforcement out there. Most of that is grant funded.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this information. And, it's a really good reminder that even just having like you mentioned, having your pet on your lap, even as simple as that, is also, against the law. Because right now we have rainy weather and rainy conditions, and there's rain in the next several days. What should drivers be aware of, especially in these conditions? I know obviously we should be aware of everything all year round, but especially in rainy weather, what would you tell drivers?
It's a lot of the simple things. I mean, it sounds funny to say because I know a lot of us already know this type of thing, but it's a lot of when it comes to inclement weather, or just in general, take your time. 90% of the time when we see these horrible accidents, speed is a factor. So taking your time, and it gives you that extra couple seconds to think about the decision before it's made, or avoid a collision. Another law that not a lot of people are aware of is, if you have your windshield wipers on, your headlights must be on. But like I said, it's a lot of the things we always tell our relatives, our family members, our friends, but unfortunately, when we get behind the wheel or we're in a rush, we don't think about those simple things. So I would say what I like to put out to the public is just use the common sense that you would want your family member to be safe with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm wondering if you can maybe give some advice to new drivers out there. There's a lot of young folks that are new drivers and have just gotten their license, and sometimes they don't think about certain things that can impact other people. What would you tell new drivers?
Be a courteous driver. Is what I would say is, if someone is going to barge their way in front of you, be the person that slows down and lets them in. Because if once we get to that road rage level, that's when things happen, whether they were in the right or you were in the wrong. If everybody was a courtesy driven driver, we'd have a far less incidences. And the other thing I would put out to newer drivers is, if you make it a habit of always using your blinker, always putting your seatbelt on, always turning your headlights on when you're supposed to, always stopping completely when you make a right-hand turn or at a stop sign, you make it a habit early, that's going to be your habit moving forward as a driver. So if you start making it seem like, oh, it's not that big of a deal early on, that's going to continue on in your driving history.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you giving us this overview, and a lot of things, we often forget. So it's a really good reminder for everyone, whether you're a new driver or you've been driving for years, it's really important to always be reminded about this. So we really appreciate you being here today, and for keeping our roads safe. Thank you so much again for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
Now, Monterey County Works is hosting a series of job fairs and specialized recruitment events throughout the month of February. They are connecting local job seekers with employers who are actively hiring across a variety of industries. These events are offered at no cost and are designed to help participants meet employers, perhaps explore career pathways, and learn about available training and support services. Today, we have Laura Kershner, Business Services Specialist with Monterey County Workforce Development Board. Hi, Laura. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate that. We've got a specialized recruitment today, a transportation recruitment. We have 3 employers that are signed up to participate. And just when I got back from lunch, we've got another one that's on their way from Morgan Hill. So we're excited about that. The recruitments tend to be a little bit smaller, usually maybe 2 to 4 employers that are hiring, and they're more narrowly focused. So this one in particular is for those in the transportation industry or hiring transportation related positions. Then the other option that we have for employers and job seekers are our multiple employer job fair. And we've got one of those taking place next week. And I think we've got 8 employers registered already for that. So excited about that. Folks can learn more about our events on our homepage on our website at montereycountyworks.com. That's montereycountyworks.com. The multiple employer job fairs are typically on Wednesdays from 1 to 4 p.m. and the recruitments are from 1:30 to 4 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Great. So you mentioned there's a transportation one today, actually starting really soon. So this is a great push out for those interested, and anyone is welcome to share if they know anyone. And there's also a health industry coming up as well. A recruitment for the health industry, healthcare workers.
Yes, we have. Let's see, when is that one coming up? That's on February 25th. So that'll be not next week, but the following. So we alternate week to week between the specialized recruitments and the multiple employer job fairs. Usually the specialized recruitments are either transportation or healthcare or hospitality. Although we do have a finance, insurance, and real estate specialized recruitment coming up in March. Oh, and then we're working with the city of Greenfield on April 16th for a multiple employer job fair at the city of Greenfield City Council chambers from 4 to 6:30 p.m. And that's exciting. That's already available on our website. If employers would like to register for that, there is limited space. So encourage folks, employers in particular, to register early. I think there's room for approximately 20 employers at that event.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Tell us more.
I was going to say, in our multiple employer job fairs are usually about 10 employers. That's what we strive for. And they're hiring in a variety of different industries, from large businesses to small ones.
Yeah, and that brings me to my question is, for someone who hasn't attended any of these events, what can they expect? Do they have, a different table set up that they can maybe walk around and see the options that there are?
They do. So what we encourage people to do, if you're a job seeker, is please come ready. And that means a business attire, a business casual, bring your resume, be prepared to meet the employers in person, to shake hands, to ask questions about the positions. Make sure that all of those things that we talk about when that you're engaging with the employer, that you're interested in their opportunities. Maybe you've done your homework ahead of time to log onto our website to see who's coming, so you can check out their opportunities on their websites. That would be something I would encourage. And then come dressed like you're going to work. I would suggest not coming in sweats or looking very unprofessional. Leave your pets at home. Get a sitter if you have to, um, just like you're preparing for work, because you're showing yourself as somebody who they might want to employ. So put your best foot forward. It's more than just a casual encounter. They are deciding. The recruiter is your first door to the business, and they get to make an assessment of you, and that's what they're doing at these events.
Yeah, well, you answered what my next question was going to be, was ways to prepare, but you really listed them out really great. In your opinion, what makes meeting an employer in person different than perhaps maybe someone who's just wanting to put an application online?
It is different, and I have to say that that's where our older job seekers shine, because a lot of us have learned to do that over the years. You have to engage in person. You have to develop a rapport with an individual recruiter or individuals in particular. You need to be able to relate to people, to speak with them with confidence, with ease, to put them at ease. And I think our older job seekers do that better, namely because we've had to. We didn't grow up with these devices where you didn't have to engage with anybody in real time, uh, in person. So that's where our younger job seekers struggle. We've had lots of young people come in where they realize that this is an in-person thing, and you got to engage. They turn around and go the other way. So it's something that it's still necessary to do in person, and it's a challenge for them. So be prepared to speak with people, to listen in particular, to dress your best, have your resume, because like I said, the recruiter is the front door to this.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing all of this really great information and useful tips as well. We really appreciate you being here, and we'll be sure to share the flyers that we have. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Now, last but not least, Hitchcock Road Animal Services is currently seeking volunteers who can assist in a variety of ways, including walking dogs or even helping with events and foster programs. The shelter is especially looking to fill several volunteer roles and is encouraging community members who are interested in giving back to learn how they can get involved. Here to share more information about the volunteer program and how residents can participate, we have Kendra Brady, Education and Volunteer Coordinator with Hitchcock Road Animal Services. Hi, Kendra. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity just to give a little bit more information to county family who may not know what we're doing out here on Hitchcock Road. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I've just got a few slides, not a big deal. A second. Uh-oh. Can you see my screen?
We do, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I've just got a few slides to go through, and okay, so let's get through. Let's see. So our volunteers currently, we're working on lowering the age, but our volunteers need to be 18 years of age and older. We are asking for 1 week per, one shift per week. A 2-hour shift is what they're typically doing. And about a 6-month commitment. It does take time and money to bring a new volunteer on board with lots of training. So we're always seeking to find people that this fits in currently with their life and their schedule, and that we could hopefully get a 6-month commitment out of them. It's a simple process. We just ask for people to come out and attend a volunteer orientation where, if nothing else, you get a better idea of what we're doing and what we're asking of our volunteers. And then from that point, if that's something that works currently, then we ask that you would attend an onboarding session at the health department And on the same day, you would also go for TB testing at Natividad Medical Center. Once we're cleared and we get badges, then I'm contacting a new volunteer to let them know that we're ready to start training in the role that they want us to get started in. Sometimes people don't know what they want to do. And so we do go through my next slide. Let's see. We do have different roles for people where if they want to work with dogs, they maybe want to walk the dogs or feed the dogs, or we have socializing with our kitties and kittens, and we have people that come through and clean the cat rooms, and really it's like making their little house perfectly comfortable for them. Enrichment is for cats and for dogs. We've even got bunnies. We've got a duck right now. We've got chickens occasionally. So we need people to come out who love animals and want to work with them. Provide enrichment is putting Kongs together, maybe food puzzles. We are looking for people that can take good pictures. The better the picture, the better the expression for people to, understand maybe the personality of the cat or the dog. Somebody had mentioned, you had mentioned our offsite events and special events that we host on site, where we need people who are able to stand out at a table and hand out awesome giveaways and be able to explain what we do at the shelter, talk about like current events that we're doing. And even if you're more on the shy side, it's still a great opportunity to be out there and support what the shelter is doing. There's still a lot of people that don't know who Hitchcock Road Animal Services is. They don't know where we're located. So we have a lot of work to do to get our name out there. Then our shelter support program is helping us with laundry, dishes, donations, food rooms, just keeping everything stocked and, proper. And then we have a foster program. And we're looking for somebody that would like to do some foster support, where it would be primarily a remote position, where it's follow-up phone calls, it's check-ins, it's getting information that needs to be passed to the coordinator for the foster program. It could be as hands-on as you want it to be. It is somebody still that needs to really care and love the animals and what the foster program's all about. And then we do have some critical need areas where I'm always looking for people to team up. I love teams. It cuts all the work in half. So I'm looking for people to team up and come clean the cats. That is a little tougher. It's begins at 9 o'clock in the morning. So for our working folks, that's probably not going to be easy to do. But we do have Sunday through Saturday, every day of the week, 7 days a week, because we have living things that need to be taken care of. Next would be our dog feeding schedule. Our dogs are fed twice per day, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then 2:30 in the afternoon is when they get their little dinner time. It's very structured. The cat room cleaning and the dog feeding is time based on what the animal needs, not when it conveniently works for our schedules. So we do need people that have good availability. And again, with the team thing, I love having 2 dog feeders go in, 2 cat room cleaners. It really just builds that camaraderie, and you've just got somebody else who's right there with you. Dog walking is 7 days a week. That is a much more flexible schedule. They typically begin walking dogs around 9:30 in the morning, and we lock up our dogs starting at 4 p.m. after our adoption hours. So we do have about 9:30 to 4 p.m. when the dogs are able to be out of their kennels. During adoption hours, we do ask that the dogs are nearby in case customers come through to meet with them. Adoption support for cats and for dogs, that is Tuesday through Saturday. Adoptions begin at 1 p.m. We end at 4 in order to process that last adoption. And adoption support is basically, the animals. So then you're helping direct a customer to what they're looking for, what they're hoping for. Sorry, guys. And so we have my light just turned down. Sorry about that. So our adoption support is critical. It takes a staff person out from having to spend time with customers while they're busy intaking animals and medicating animals and evaluating animals. So our adoption support really takes the pressure off of our staff. And then our offsite events, like we talked about, those are scheduled usually monthly. With the better weather coming, we'll start getting a little busier with our offsite events. And then our foster support program, it's brand new. We want to see how this goes. There's going to be training. There's training for every single role at the shelter. We want our volunteers to feel empowered, that they have correct information and can convey that correctly to a customer. And our current opportunity, the reason for me being here with all of you today is we have a new volunteer orientation on Saturday. 2 times, one at 10 in the morning, and then the second one would be at 2:30 in the afternoon. If nothing else, just come out, get more information, see if this works for you, see if it works at this time in your life. And it's really a nice short 1-hour orientation. Bring a friend with you. If you did want to go to our website, you can go to our Hitchcock Road Animals website and go to the tab for Get Involved. There's a volunteer drop down and there's an interest form that can be filled out first. It's the easiest way for me to invite people, to get in touch with people, to follow up with people. So fill out an interest form if you like, or if you don't know for sure and you just want to kind of show up, that's fine. You don't have to have an appointment. You don't have to have filled out a form. Just show up. Very casual. I provide information and then we go from there and see about next steps if volunteering is what is next on the menu. So my contact info is there if you are looking to get in touch with me. I work Tuesday through Saturday and be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Kendra, for going over that. And I think it's a good reminder that even if you're unsure, just show up and see if maybe you're a good fit.
Right.
I want you to talk a little bit more about the connection between volunteers and how that affects the overall capacity of the shelter, and maybe even whether or not that also can improve the chances of an animal getting adopted.
Oh, the impact that the volunteers make. I mean, I can't stress enough that an animal that has had human connection, whether it's feeding or walking or during adoption hours, if there's not a customer, there are volunteers just walking around talking to everybody. It just helps release their kennel stress. They're in an environment that's not natural because they're completely cut off from people. They're surrounded by smells and sounds, and it's terrifying. And we do the best that we can do by providing, a comfortable living environment for them. But we know it's really a scary place. So we try our best. The volunteers, we have a little army and they come through. Every day is a different shift of volunteers that come through. Everybody's got great teamwork down. The impact for our animals, that it improves their chances of adoptions because we're able to keep them calm and we're able to kind of extend our peace and our love to them and make sure that they're comfortable. And our social media is extremely active and we promote constantly who's available for adoption, how to adopt, when our adoption hours are. We try and make sure that we've left no stone unturned, and our adoptions are slow this time of year typically, but we're picking up a little bit, and we do have an adoption special that will go through Saturday on the 14th, where any large breed dog over 8 months is half off adoption fee. So $150 for the adoption fee, which includes their spay neuter, their shots, their rabies, their microchip, their dewormer, their flea meds. It includes everything.
Yeah, sounds like a full package deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those who maybe are unable to volunteer, can you mention some of the ways that maybe residents can support the shelter?
So we have ways that people can help us out with just sharing our posts on social media. If they're connected on any platform, If it's next door, Facebook, Instagram, if there's just sharing our stray post alone helps so much, because then people can say, oh, your dog's at the shelter, sharing our stray post, maybe doing a blanket drive in your neighborhood saying, look, I'll be the key point. Everybody drop off used blankets and towels. I'll take them out to the shelter. That helps us a lot too. We have an Amazon wish list where people can go through and see exactly what we need, drop it in their cart, pay for it, and it's delivered here to the shelter. They never even have to come out to the shelter. It's, helping us out, showing up at events when we're out there, just kind of giving us that support.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing this really great information. We'll definitely be sure to share this out on our social media posts as well. And we will also share the slides that you've shared with us. So make sure that you have a really good turnout for Saturday.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing will be next week, and we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.